Hello, my name's Sinead and I'm a Student Recruitment and Outreach Officer at the University of Westminster. My job is to help students with their transition to university, ensuring that they're making the right decision for them. So hopefully today I'll be able to help you with a session on how to choose a course and a university specifically aimed at students studying Level 3 BTECs. There's currently 150 universities in the UK and over 50,000 courses. You only get to apply to a maximum of 5 courses via UCAS, so it begs the question, is there too much choice? It does mean that there's something available for everyone, no matter what your interests or your predicted grades, but it can also be really daunting to narrow down your choices. Today I'm going to give you some starting points on how to research courses. You always want to start with the subject area first and then start thinking about the university, because you don't want to get your heart set on a certain university and then they don't end up offering what you want. We'll then look at how you can choose a university that's right for you. When I speak with students, I usually find that there's 3 types of people. There's students A, who know exactly what they want to do. They want to become a nurse. Maybe they haven't quite figured out which universities they'd like to go to yet, but they've got the course down. Then there's student B that's got a rough idea of what they'd like to study. So they know they want to do something related to business, but they're not quite sure what exact area yet. So they still need to explore the different options available for them. Then there's student C. They've got no idea what they want to do and they feel really stuck. Now, obviously, this student's got a lot of work to do, but it's not the worst place to be because there's still a lot of options available for them. It's just going to take a little bit of work to figure out both what they want to study and where they'd like to do so. So just have a think about which of these categories you fit into. If you know what career you want to do, you need to make sure that you're studying the right qualification to get there. For example, if you want to be a nurse, you need to be studying a nursing degree. If you want to be a barrister, you'll need to study law or a law conversion. Google's the best place to figure this out, so just type in routes into nursing or whatever career it is you've got in mind and find out what you need to do to get there. I'd also recommend searching the professional body for that career to see their recommendations, because in some cases you'll need to study an accredited degree. If you're not sure what you'd like to do yet, you could try a careers personality test for inspiration. These can be really good to help you think about the different options out there and your own likes and dislikes. You don't need to have all the answers just yet. There are a lot of people out there who don't figure this out for years, but the important thing is that once you leave school or college, you're doing something to continue learning and improving your skill set, which university can be a great option for. What you want to do with your life is a huge question to ask, so don't focus too much on the future. Just try and think about what you study now and what you'd like to do in the short term. So think about your current course. Do you enjoy it? Even if you're not sure what career you'd like to do, would you like to learn about that subject in more depth? Maybe there's a certain area of your BTEC course that's piqued your interest, and you'd be surprised where these subjects can lead you. Just because you study a certain subject at university doesn't mean you have to have a career in that subject. For example, a lot of students study psychology, then go on to work in marketing or advertising. What are your interests outside of academia? Do you really like football? Do you really like computer games? Maybe you like learning about current political topics. Have a think about what's important to you and what you find yourself talking to your friends and family about. Also think about your personality traits and how that could link in with a course or a career. If you're really outgoing or you enjoy working with people, it's likely that you'll suit something that's going to be people focused. Maybe you really like helping people, so you could do something that's maybe patient or care focused. Or if you like doing things with your hands and building, just have a think about the different angles that you can look at it from to help make your decision. The UCAS website is a really good place to start with researching subject areas. So have a look on ucas.com/explore/subjects. It's a really good site to show you all of the different courses available and ones that you probably haven't thought of. So if we look at computer science as an example, there's some information here on why you should study computer science, what you can do afterwards, and the types of courses available. can also have a look on UCAS Hub. This is a really good place to keep all of your research in one place and things like important deadlines that you need to remember. Once you get a bit further into your research, you can even favourite courses and come back to it, including locations and entry requirements. Another option is to speak with university reps. So your school or college might put on a higher education fair where you'll get the chance to speak with university staff and student ambassadors. Take advantage of that and just tell them that you're a bit stuck with making a decision and see what they suggest you study. They'll be more than happy to help. You can also have a look on whatuni.com and speak with Luna the bot. So when you get onto the main page, just click this need some help bubble in the corner. So let's presume you've narrowed down your options and you've got a subject area in mind. Now you need to choose a course that's right for you to make sure that you're definitely going to enjoy it and that you'll excel and get the most out of it. As a BTEC student, you've probably got different criteria from what you want from a course versus somebody that's studying straight A levels. You know, whether that's your learning style or how you're assessed, you just want to make sure you research these things. So let's have a look at these in more detail. Firstly, you need to realise that there's no two university courses that are the same. It's an easy mistake to presume that digital media at one university is the same as digital media at another university, because with BTEC and A levels, everybody follows the same syllabus. So at the moment, if you're studying BTEC media production in London, you'll be learning the same stuff as somebody doing BTEC media production in Liverpool. At university, though, this isn't the same. So each course is being created by a team of academics that's based on their own interests and expertise. And that's because as well as teaching you, they're also carrying out advanced research in that area. So there might be some similar core modules, but it's always good to check what you're going to be doing to make sure it sounds interesting to you. So they might be more theory-based modules rather than practical like you're hoping for. Just because a course in digital media sounds like a practical subject, this isn't always the case. Have a look at the university's course page. All the information is going to be there for you, and you can download the course specification to give you some more detail. So here's some other things you need to consider. So the number of contact or teaching hours you get will differ between courses and universities. So at uni, there's a big focus on independent study, which you'll likely be familiar with being a BTEC student. But have a look to see how many hours of teaching you're getting a term and also how it's taught. So is it all in person with some online, and how big are the class sizes? Some courses have trips each year to help you contextualise your learning, and some courses have work experience modules built in that are a great way for you to gain valuable experience before you graduate. There's also the option to study abroad in many cases. Perhaps there's a country you've always wanted to go to, and this could be your chance to live there for a year and immerse yourself in their culture. And many also offer a year-long work placement, which will really set you apart from other graduates. So we call this a sandwich course because the work placement or the study abroad is sandwiched between your second and third year. So each course is going to have really different options, so just have a think about what you're hoping to do. So just like the content differs between courses, the way you're assessed will also be different. So some courses have very few coursework pieces and will mostly focus on exams, which as a BTEC student might not be what you're used to or what you enjoy. So when I was choosing a uni, this was really important to me to find out because I find the exam environment really stressful. So I was looking for something that had more of an emphasis on practical work and reports rather than essays and exams. Usually you can find this information on the course page, but if it's not there, just reach out to the university. The majority of them are going to have live chat on their website to speak with the course inquiries team, or you can email the course leader directly and ask for a percentage breakdown. In light of COVID and universities not being able to run exams, we are starting to see a shift with how universities are assessing their students. So many are realising that exams don't reflect the real world. And if you had a job, you wouldn't be doing an exam in that every week. So they're looking more now at real life examples and how that can give you experience managing projects and clients. So you also want to make sure you're going to be able to get in. So years ago, some universities wouldn't accept BTECs, but times have definitely changed and nearly all now accept level 3 qualifications. So have a look on the university course page and check that you're predicted to meet the entry requirements. Some universities will make it really easy and clear with their requirements, and some just have it displayed as the equivalent UCAS points. If that's the case, just go on the UCAS website and have a look at the tariff calculator to see how many points your predicted grades equate to. It's really important to research this as early as possible. This way, if you need to do anything extra to fill the entry requirements, you've got time to do so. Because depending on what kind of BTEC you're doing, you might need to do an A-level alongside it to meet the minimum UCAS points required. So usually the 18 units extended BTEC is enough because that's equivalent to 3 A-levels. But if you're doing the 12 unit BTEC, you're probably going to need an A-level alongside that. When you're making your 5 course choices, usually you want to make sure you've got a range of entry requirements. So you would pick one course with lower entry requirements to what you predicted, just to act as a backup in case things don't go to plan and you don't do as well as you'd hope. As always, if you're stuck, just reach out to the university for clarification. There's also different modes of study to fit around your circumstances. So the vast majority of students will study full time. But for some people who have other commitments, maybe a family to look after, there's options for you to study part-time. This isn't available for every course though, so you will be a bit limited with your options. You might also be interested in a degree apprenticeship, so you can split your time between study and a workplace. And these again are very limited, but they are becoming really popular with more added each year. And lastly, there's the option to study remotely, allowing you to learn in your own time. But obviously with this, you're going to need to be really disciplined with your time management to ensure you stay on track. So looking now at the university level rather than the course, you need to think about where you want to study. So perhaps it's important to you to stay close to your family and save some money living at home, or perhaps you'd like to experience moving away from home and gain some independence. You know, maybe you're from the city and you've always wanted to live by the sea. But if you choose to live away, you're obviously going to have to factor in living costs too. You might have a particular city in mind, but just remember that some cities have multiple universities that each have their different strengths and specialisms. So as an example, there's about 23 major universities in London. So it's not always as easy as just picking a city. You're going to need to make sure it's also the right institution. Each city has got its own vibe, and that's the same with universities. So the atmosphere at one is going to be very different from the other. So I'd really recommend that you visit the university for an open day or a campus tour if possible. You know, you're going to be spending at least 3 years here, so just want to make sure you feel comfortable and that it lives up to your expectations. So with open days, you can go on your own with your family, with your friends. And if you get there and you decide you don't like it, it's not a wasted day. Because I personally think it's just important knowing what you don't want to do as it is knowing what you do want to do. So most universities are opening back up in the summer as COVID restrictions ease. So hopefully by September, you'll be able to attend open days as normal. So a few other bits to consider depending on what your priorities are. You want to have to think about the facilities. What does the university have on offer? You know, is it dedicated facilities for practicals? Are they modern? When were they last updated? How big are they? What's the social life like? If it's important for you to have like a thriving nightlife, or maybe you want something a bit quieter. Have a look at the support services available specifically for you. So things like disability and mental health support, and even enterprise and entrepreneurship support. So most unis have got dedicated teams for this. So just reach out and see what's on offer. I'd also suggest having a look at the culture you'll be going into. So how inclusive and diverse is the university, or how supportive are they of the LGBTQ+ community? societies and sports clubs do they have? Maybe you're really into basketball and you want to go somewhere that you can continue doing that. And lastly, what can you do once you've graduated? So have a look at where past students have gone and their graduate employability rate. Equally, I'd suggest having a think about the type of careers it can lead to. So you might think that nursing is a good job for you because you like science, you like learning about the human body, but have you considered what it would be like to be a nurse? So do you think you could handle the long days on your feet, or would you much prefer having a 9-to-5 job? And in that case, maybe another type of science degree would be better suited to you. So you'll hear this a lot from universities, but it is a really good idea to go and see a uni at an open day to really get a feel for the place and make sure you feel welcome there. Just like you wouldn't view a house, you wouldn't buy a house without viewing it online, the same should stand for a university. You don't have to go to every course you're considering, but maybe just go to your top 1 or 2 choices. See if you like the area, the teaching team, speak with current students too to get their opinion, and just see if they seem happy overall. Have a think about how the environment makes you feel. So it's okay to feel a bit nervous, that's completely natural, but is it an excited, nervous feeling? Or maybe you just don't quite feel at home, which is perfectly fine because you're going to have other options available. A lot of universities offer financial support to attend, so they'll reimburse your travel costs if that's a barrier to you attending. Again, just reach out to the course inquiries team and see if they can help. Most universities are holding their open days online until the COVID restrictions ease in the summer, but online open days are still a great way for you to get a bit of a feel for the university and speak with current students. You can also do research using league tables. There's a number of these available from different companies, and their primary purpose is to give you quick impressions and a general overview of university versus university. So each of these uses a different set of parameters. So things like the amount of research Unity does and the graduate prospects. Now, the reason I've left this towards the end is because they definitely have their limitations. They only show you a small part of the overall picture, so they can be quite misleading. So some universities have standout courses and excellent student satisfaction, which often isn't taken into account. So don't use this as your main judgment. Equally with surveys, remember that more people will go online to moan than to praise, so these can be a bit skewed. So thinking about everything we've just discussed, here are my 3 main tips for helping you choose a course and a university. So firstly, do your own research. Okay, it's great to get advice from your teachers, your friends and your family, but just remember it's your decision. It's you that's going to be studying there for the 3 years. So don't be swayed by others' opinions. But 2, figure out your top 3 priorities or 3 non-negotiables. So does the university have to be in London? Maybe you definitely want to study abroad year, and maybe you definitely want it to be mostly coursework based. Have a think about what your 3 non-negotiables are. And lastly, attend open days and taster sessions to make sure that you're confident in your choice. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for listening. So just remember, don't put too much pressure on yourself. There's always the option, in your first or your second year to switch courses if you realise it's not right for you. It's not the end of the world. And no matter where you end up, even if it's not what you first expected, you're likely going to have a great time regardless. Just take advantage of the fantastic opportunities available to you.